The sun burned softly over the red earth of Njoro village when Chief Adewale sat alone on the veranda of his mansion. His trembling hands held a letter he had written to test the hearts of his children. The words were simple, but the weight behind them was immense. My health is failing. I may not have much time left. For years he had given them everything: education abroad, businesses, luxury cars. Yet lately, when he called, they sent texts. When he invited them home, they made excuses. And now he wanted to know, would they come if he had nothing left to give? Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who Tiwa's listening. He sealed the letter and sent it to his 3 children, Tunde, Ngozi, and Femi, each living in the city, far from the dusty paths of their childhood home. Then he waited. The days were long. The birds still sang, but the silence afterward was louder. By the 3rd day, no one had come. Not a call, not a visit. Only the rustle of dry leaves by the mango tree kept him company. His old friend Baba Musa stopped by with yam and palm soup, shaking his head gently. "A man's wealth may fill his home," he said softly, "but it cannot fill the hearts of the ungrateful." Adewale forced a smile. "Maybe they're busy, Musa. Maybe they'll come tomorrow." But deep down he knew. Tomorrow might come empty-handed. In Lagos, his eldest son Tunde read the letter with a frown. "Father's sick again?" he scoffed. "He always says that when he wants attention." He folded it carelessly and went back to his board meeting. His daughter, Ngozi, stared at the message on her phone but turned back to her makeup mirror. "If it's serious, he'll call again," she murmured. Only the youngest, Femi, hesitated. He remembered how his father once carried him through the rain just to get him to school. His chest ached with guilt, but his pride whispered, "He never had time for me. Why should I now?" So he didn't go either. A week later, Chief Adewale sat on the same veranda, thinner now from stress and sorrow. But something unexpected happened that morning. As he tried to water the flowers by his wife's grave, he stumbled, and before he could fall, a young woman rushed forward to catch him. Her name was Amina. She worked as a maid in a neighbor's home and had always admired the chief from afar. "Baba, you shouldn't be out here alone," she said, guiding him back to his chair. He smiled faintly. "At least someone still sees me." From that day, Amina came every evening to cook, clean, and talk with him. She listened to his stories, of his youth, of the love he lost, of the empire he built. For the first time in months, the old man laughed. But his children's absence burned quietly in his heart like an unhealed wound. On the 10th day, Adewale decided to write one final letter. Not to call his children, but to leave them something that would make them listen. He wrote, "My will is ready. Whoever comes home first will inherit all that I own." This time, it didn't take long. Within hours, 3 luxury cars roared through the village gates. Tunde stepped out first, carrying flowers and forced tears. Ngozi followed, her perfume filling the air, eyes darting nervously toward the mansion. Femi arrived last, guilt and greed battling inside him. They rushed to their father's side, only to find him sitting calmly with Amina by his side. His eyes, though weak, glimmered with quiet strength. "So," he said, voice trembling, "you finally remembered the road to your father's home." They looked away, shame creeping across their faces. But when they saw the papers on the table, the will, their eyes lit up again. Tunde forced a smile. "Father, we came as soon as we heard. How are you feeling?" Adewale leaned back. "Better now," he said, "because I finally see your hearts clearly." He tore the will in half, the sound slicing through the air like thunder. "You didn't come for me when I was dying," he said softly. "Don't come now for what I own." He turned to Amina. "But this girl, this stranger, she came when I had nothing. She gave me company, not for gold, but for love." The silence that followed was heavy. the kind that breaks something inside you. Tunde tried to speak, but no words came. Ngozi burst into tears. Femi knelt, sobbing. "Father, forgive us." Adewale looked at them, pain flickering through his eyes, but he spoke with grace. "Forgiveness is not given in words, my son. It's earned in deeds." He stood slowly, leaning on his cane. "Leave my house today. When you can return with hearts free of greed, I will open my door again." And with that, the chief walked into his room, leaving his children to face the truth they had built for themselves. Years later, on the day of Adewale's funeral, all 3 children returned. This time, not in suits or cars, but in humility. They found Amina tending the flowers by his grave. She looked up and smiled softly. "He never stopped loving you," she said. "He just waited for you to remember what love means." They stood there, silent, as the wind carried the scent of fresh earth and forgiveness, because sometimes it's only when a heart breaks that it finally learns to feel again. Bold truth line. Because love untested by hardship is only convenience. True love endures even when it gains nothing. Poetic reflective line. And as the evening sun dipped behind Nyoro's hills, the house that once held silence now echoed with something deeper. Understanding. Branded outro. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who might need its lesson today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Whispered Words, where every tale reminds us. Love is the wealth that never fades.